Another touchdown for Lamar Jackson. Stiff arms a man, touchdown. We're tied at 14, 4th and 1. The Ravens turn him over on downs. It is good!
Big trust.
The Ravens have made it 8 consecutive wins.
It was the game of the week, a potential Super Bowl preview, and it went down to the wire in Baltimore where the Ravens ultimately prevailed over the Niners thanks to their iron leg kicker, Justin Tucker. San Francisco certainly putting up a solid effort, an early start after traveling coast to coast. Stephen A., were you more impressed by Baltimore or San Francisco?
Well, to me, I was impressed by San Francisco. And the reason why I was impressed by San Francisco is because I saw a team that found a way. I know that Lamar Jackson still threw for 105 yards, still rushed for 101 yards. He's electrifying. We get all of that. But considering who they were going up against, how unstoppable he is, particularly with read option plays and other things, you can't say enough about the job that I think San Francisco's defense did yesterday. It was inclement weather, obviously, but still 17-17, a nail biter coming down to the wire. You're talking about a Baltimore Ravens squad that's been running roughshod over everybody in the last recent weeks. They dropped 45 against the Rams the week before. They dropped 41 against Houston the week before that. 49 against Cincinnati, even though they ain't saying much the week before that. 37 against the New England Patriots the week before that. 30 against Seattle the week before that. This offense has been a juggernaut, and San Francisco showed up yesterday. From traveling across the country, Molly, as you brought up last week. They're flying across the country, 1 o'clock game after Thanksgiving.
10 a.m. for them.
10 a.m. for them, and still hold you to 17 points. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at Mostert. You got to remember, Breida wasn't even playing yesterday. You got Mostert there. What did he rush for? 146 yards on 19 carries? Excuse me. They had a running game. If Jimmy G had been more formidable throwing the football relative as opposed to a pedestrian 15 for 21 performance for 165 yards, had it done just a little bit more, who knows what the outcome would have been. To me, I'm impressed with San Francisco.
I'm actually with you on the Jimmy G thing, but I'm more impressed by the Ravens. Look, I was very impressed with both teams, to tell you the truth.
I was.
Because I really was. You know what you get by the odds makers for playing at home? You get a field goal. You know what the Ravens won by? I mean, these are evenly matched teams. And I said before this game, if the Niners beat the Ravens, I'm going to take them to win the Super Bowl. It reminds me of everyone compares Lamar Jackson as Michael Vick 2.0. Remember who stopped Vick during the regular season and that incredible season he had? The Bucs. Then he reeled off like 7 or 8 wins. Then the Bucs got him again with that historically great defense. And I saw the parallel and thought, if the Niners can stop Lamar Jackson and win that game, they're going to win the Super Bowl. But what it came down to, guys, is they didn't. I know they're at home, they get a field goal, but when push came to shove, the Ravens won. And why is that? Look, it's not Jimmy G's fault that they call a pass instead of a quarterback sneak when they should have called it. Shanahan should have called a quarterback sneak. It is, though, interesting to me. He throws a touchdown pass. It's a 50-50 ball, really. It's not like when Lamar Jackson threw his touchdown pass. Here's a ball where really the defense has a much better chance to make the play than the offense. Jimmy G just threw it down the field, and his guy came down with it. It could have easily been the other way around. And what that all tells me is, by the way, the Ravens deserve credit for their defense too. But what it all tells me is, in the moment of truth, one team has Lamar Jackson, one team has Jimmy G. Give me the team with Lamar Jackson. And in a slugfest where it's just about even up, Lamar Jackson is the reason your team won the game. He's the reason you're the Super Bowl favorites. He is the reason you're the best team in the NFL.
That's why I'm more impressed with the Ravens. Yes, both teams played great. Everything looked great. But when you're in December football in the NFL, the biggest thing that you see that starts to separate your team is coaching, how you handle moments. That game came down to those fourth down situations. Mm-hmm. You mentioned it. San Francisco was averaging 6 yards per carry. In the Ravens territory on fourth down, decided to get in the shotgun and throw the football. What? Where the Ravens had that in the fourth quarter, 4th and 1, quarterback sneak. We know who we are. We know what we're good at. We're going to ride our identity. Then they get the 3rd and 1, and they run quarterback power behind Marshall Yonda and Lamar Jackson. We know who we are. We're not going to try to pretend we're somebody that we're not. We know what we're good at. So that was impressive to me in the moment where it mattered the most. San Francisco, and I know they had that fourth down touchdown, but San Francisco in that moment still goes to me, I don't know who we are. It's December football.
Why is that identity thing so important? Like, I understand. I hear football players say
because
it
when
a lot.
you get back to the back end of December and you get into the playoffs, games are lost by one play. Games are won and lost by one play.
But hasn't Belichick shown that, and coaches
I love
who can
that you brought this up.
shown that you can be adaptable and surprise people by going to your second best pitch sometimes?
Last year's Super Bowl, Patriots aren't doing anything offensively. What do? They go to their identity. They went to empty set, ran the same play 3 plays in a row. Once to Rex Burkhead, once to Julian Edelman, once to Rob Gronkowski. We know exactly who we are when we need to be that person. You run the ball for 6 yards a clip. You are a running football team. Stephen A. mentioned Mostert's stats. He was running off clip after clip. 4th and 1. Why are you throwing the football? So that was impressive to me that the Ravens very easily could have tried a play action pass, got Lamar on the edge. Oh, we could have tried to trick. Nope, this is who we are. This is who we're going to be. And the Ravens now know when push comes to shove and that situation presents itself again.
But to me, I understand your point. Go like a relief pitch. Don't get beat on your third best pitch if you throw 100 miles an hour.
So that's unimpressive.
But to me, with San Francisco, it's more than, well, we know who we are. It's like quarterback sneaks are really highly successful plays. If you need a yard, 4th down, any team should go to the quarterback sneak.
So why didn't they do it?
To me, that's not an identity thing. It's just a bad play call.
But that is why.
But he's saying don't get cute. You know what works for your team in that moment.
What would take you off that play call? What would take you off that play call, though? Like if you were thinking quarterback sneak and you didn't call quarterback sneak, that means you had a conversation saying we don't like that. So or it wasn't in your plan. So if there was a reason why you didn't make the play call, what was the reason? Because there's a team
personnel package that the other team throws out.
But there's a team very similar to you on the opposite side of the field that is a running football team that said we're going to win the game or lose the game doing this.
Okay, here's my deal. I think both of y'all are wrong, and I think I'm right about this with the San Francisco 49ers because of the nuggets that I mentioned. West Coast team coming across the country. 10 a.m. game to their biological clock. Inclement weather, snowing, raining, sleet, all of that stuff. I know because I was out there shoveling a little bit, to be honest with you. Yes, I was. Yes, it was. This is
$20 an hour. Call me, I'll come back.
I couldn't find anybody yesterday. The point that I'm trying to make to you is that the weather was bad, okay? They go and they played in a nail-biter. Let's also look at the talent that they have. This brother, Deebo Samuels, can ball. This is a ball player right here. We know Emmanuel Sanders and what he can do. We debated and contemplated, is it Kelsey or is it Kittle as the best tight end in football? They were all there available for Jimmy G yesterday. And so I'm looking at it from the perspective, if the weather was nicer, if it wasn't inclement weather hindering you, it could have elevated your passing game. And when you look at the fact that that was relatively stripped from them because weather conditions and what have you, for them to know that and to still play the kind of game that they played, and for it to come down to this on the road, literally a field goal to end the game in order to win, I think that's more impressive than what you saw from the Ravens, even though they were both
the Ravens put up their fewest points this season.
Right, I'm not yes, we all agree both teams are very impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
But the difference to me, and I want to hear you respond to this, is one team has Lamar Jackson, the other team doesn't. That was the difference yesterday. It's going to be the difference if they meet in the Super Bowl.
And I'm saying to you, is you could say that's going to be the difference. You give me Lamar Jackson, and I don't knock that at all because I know he's a stud. But I just mentioned to you, Deebo, Kittle.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but we're going to get into these two quarterbacks a little bit later in the show. We got to get into commercial break. Doug Peterson's Eagles are crashing at the wrong time of the year, but find out why Philly's coach is the least of their problems. Don't go anywhere. It's First Take.
We're back Tuesday with another huge First Take for a reaction to the big Monday Night Football matchup between the Vikings and Seahawks. Plus, will the late show's Batman and Robin take down the Joker in Mile High? And Steven's A-List is back. I'll tell you the real 5 best teams in the National Football League.